does not need the humor to enhance his physical appearance. Coming to lead us in our contest this evening is a young Floridian hailing from Division C as their division director and our incoming club growth director for the 2020-2021 year. Let us welcome none other than DTM Austin Canonica.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Damianos. You are more than welcome to introduce me at any gathering. I hope that I'm funny, more so than just funny looking for this occasion, serving as the contest master of the District 47 Humorous Speech Competition. As we know in Toastmasters, sometimes we need to practice our impromptu and extemporaneous speaking skills. I'd like to briefly give an inspirational thought or quote that was actually sounded also by our District Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Leonardo Burrows, right when the pandemic hit. This is a quote from John F. Kennedy. When written in Chinese, the word crisis is composed of two characters. One represents danger, and the other represents opportunity. It's a great quote apropos of the time we're currently living in, but let's get away from all the seriousness now and laugh our tails off. We are here at the Humorous Speech Competition, and the purpose of the Humorous Speech Contest is to provide an opportunity to learn by observing the more proficient speakers who have benefited from their Toastmasters training and to recognize the best as encouragement to all. The coordinators of this virtual contest are instructed not to admit anyone into the room while speakers are delivering their presentations. In accordance with Toastmasters rules, you will be muted and your webcams and the chat will be turned off. And now for a public service announcement. By attending this online district speech contest, you agree to the privacy policy of Toastmasters International, as well as the unassociated remote hosting service. Some of your personal information, such as the name, image, and any shared messages, may be shared with other meeting participants and will be recorded by Toastmasters International, who may use the recording in future as it sees fit. Your remote attendance hereby discharges Toastmasters International from all claims, demands, rights, promises, damages, and liabilities arising out of or in connection with the use or distribution of said video recordings, including but not limited to any claims for invasion of privacy, appropriation, or likeness of defamation. Whew, that was a mouthful. Let's get on with some funny stuff now that we got the legalese out of the way. At this time, we're going to call up our Chief Judge, Distinguished Toastmaster Garth Action Jackson, to provide an overview of the contest rules of the Humorous Speech Competition. Toastmaster Jackson?
Thank you for the wonderful introduction, Distinguished Toastmaster Canonica. And welcome to the Humorous Competition Toastmasters and guests. I am DTM Garth Jackson, and I'll be serving as your Chief Judge for this evening. Now, let's get on to the good stuff. All of our contestants have been briefed prior to the competition, so they are aware and eligible. The contestants have been made aware of the speaking times for the Humorous Speech Competition, which is 5 to 7 minutes. Any speech less than 4 minutes and 30 seconds, or any speech more than 7 minutes and 30 seconds will result in a disqualification. Contestants have also been made aware of our timing signals. Now, ask our timers to assist us. Yes. Can everyone see our timer? Our timer, at 5 minutes, the green light will appear, which is displayed. At 6 minutes, the yellow or amber light will appear. And at 7 minutes, the red light will appear. And that red light will remain on until the speaker stops. Thank you for those who placed their thumbs up. No indication will be given if the speaker exceeds the time limit. And prior to the announcing of the winners, The chairperson will announce if any person has been disqualified. Now on to our judges. We can confirm that all of our judges are eligible and have been made aware of the briefing as well. There is one tiebreaker judge that only I know. And in the event that there is a tie, this person's ballot will be taken into consideration. Now on to our contestants. All of our contestants are eligible to compete in this evening's contest. Protests. Protests are limited to contestants and judges only. Any protest must be lodged to myself prior to the announcement of the winners. And beyond that point, any decision made by the judges collectively are final. Our contestants have also been made aware of the speaking areas. Now, the humorous speech competition is one of those that allows the contestants the opportunity to view their competitors' speeches. But the contestants must also be reminded that you have to be in place. If you decide to leave your laptop, to step away from your laptop or your phone, you have to be in place when your name is introduced. So that is all from the Chief Judge. If there are no other questions, I'll pass the reign back to you, DTM Canonica. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Garth Jackson, as our Chief Judge for this evening. At this time, we're going to cover the contestant speaking order. Prior to the contest, during the briefing, all contestants were selected their order out of random. Oh yes, there's some very fancy people on the screen. Let's not proceed until we introduce them. Of course, we are led by our trio this year. We have our District Director, Leonardo Burrows, our Program Quality Director, Ivan Thompson, and our Club Growth Director, Andrew Byrne, all distinguished Toastmasters. Then we also have our incoming trio. We have our Program Quality Director-elect, Shakira Taylor, our District Director-elect, Barbara Strassis, and that familiar-looking fellow right there, yours truly, Club Growth Director-elect, Austin Canonico, also all distinguished Toastmasters. But enough of those people. Let's get to the speaking order. Like I said, during the briefing, the speaking order was selected at random, and it is as follows on the screen. Our first contestant will be Leah Von Salvo. Our second contestant will be Roshan Jones. Contestant number 3, Justin Marguerite. Contestant number 4, O'Kethen Cooper. Contestant number 5, Jonathan Francis Dunn. Contestant number 6, Dave Bricker. And contestant number 7, Sean Bakhta. I will read those one more time, even though they're displayed right in front of you. Contestant number 1, Leah Von Salvo. Contestant number 2, Roshan Jones. Contestant number 3, Justin Marguerite. Contestant number 4, O'Kethen Cooper. Contestant number 5, Jonathan Francis Dunn. Contestant number 6, Dave Bricker. Contestant number 7, Sean Bakhta. In between each speaker, there will be a 1-minute moment of silence to give the judges time to fill out their ballots. At the conclusion of the contest, the ballot counters will collect all of the judges' ballots, and the timers will deliver their reports to the chief judge. Are our fantastic timers ready for this competition? To indicate to me that you are ready, if you could please show your screen, because we are about to call upon our first contestant and get the contest underway. Thank you so much. Excellent. At this time, I'm going to call into the contest room, or invite this individual to turn on their video camera and their microphone. Contestant number 1, Leah Von Salva. Will you identify yourself to the group here, Leah?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Wonderful. I can hear you. We can't see you yet.
Now
There
you can.
you go, Leah. We can see you. Perfect. Now, before we get started, you've already spoken, but let's do a little bit of a mic check. You want to just say some more words to us?
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3.
We hear you loud and clear. Now, you can see yourself on your screen. Are you satisfied with the way you are looking in your webcam right now? Wonderful. Final question is, are you able to see our timers right now?
No.
Okay, so let's make sure before we get started, you want to see Toastmaster Power and Toastmaster Decrizia?
Oh, yes.
Perfect. And if you want to just make sure, you could pin their video. That way they're in full display. Just want to make sure you see them. Wonderful.
Excellent. Wonderful.
So all right. You all ready to go, Leah?
Thank you.
Excuse me 1 second.
Yeah.
We're only going to have one timer on the screen at a time.
Wonderful.
Right. So Toastmaster Decrizia, can you just say that Leah can definitely see you?
Hi, can you see me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. This is obviously the first time going through this, so there are going to be some speed bumps along the way, but nothing that will keep us from getting to our destination. Okay, Leah, we're ready, and I'm going to introduce you now. Contestant number 1, Leah Von Salvo. Just one question. Just one question. Leah Von Salvo.
That's how dogs act when they're happy to see you. Dog people, people who love dogs, act much the same way. They're like this. Welcome, so glad to see everyone. Air hug, air hug. They'd wag their tails if they had one. Cats not so much. Cats are reserved, aloof, independent, even with those they like. Cat people, people who love cats, are much the same way. They're like this. Contest master, honored dignitaries, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests, unless they need a nap. And then they're like, whatever, whatever, whatever. That's right. There are dog people in this world, and there are cat people in this world. And nowhere is this more apparent than in the workplace. Dog people will be the first person to welcome a new employee. Hello, welcome to the company. What's your name? Bob. Bob, you're going to love working here. Have you seen the cafeteria? What a cafeteria! Hey, do you gotta pee? I gotta pee. Let's go pee! Cats will hold back. They'll watch, observing, judging. When they finally do approach the new employee, they're like this. So, Bob, what are your qualifications to work here again? Oh, hey, you spilled your water. Better pick that up. Dog people make great employees. Need someone to work overtime? Ask a dog person. Sure, I can work tonight. Need me to work Saturday? What about Sunday? I can work Sunday too. Ask a cat person the same question. They will look at you for so long that you'll have to turn away in uncomfortable silence until finally they'll answer, I don't know. Let me check my calendar. Nope, got to take a nap that day. Nope, nap time on that day too. I tell you what, I'll get back to you. Dog people are loyal. They will stay with a company for years and years and years. Cat people, not so much. They're always looking for a new opportunity and pounce on it. Dog people are happy, enthusiastic, upbeat, positive, motivated, people who love to participate in everything. Cat people, not so much. They will be found at their desk watching cat videos or sabotaging their coworkers. Hey, Bob, hate to tell you this, but somebody spilled water all over your keyboard, and now it's fried. That's why employers spend so much money trying to hire the right employees. They'll give you a personality test. Have you ever taken the Myers-Briggs test? so many questions asked in so many ways, when really, honestly, there's just one question. Are you a dog person or a cat person? Now you may be wondering, what if you love dogs and cats? Not a problem, because the FBI and the CIA want you. Why? Because these people can go from introverted to extroverted like that. Now you may be wondering what happens when somebody says, I hate dogs and I hate cats. What then? Not a problem. You see, these are the people that we need. They are supporting the economy. They are traveling, they are dining out, and they are shopping while we're home with our cats and our dogs. You may be curious but not want to ask someone, are you a cat person or a dog person? You may be curious and unable to give a personality test. What then? Well, I have a simple solution. I want you to take your coworkers out for a cocktail, and then it will become very apparent very, very quickly. The cat person will sit back and sip their drink, judging, watching constantly. Whereas the dog person will be like making friends. Hey, hi, my name's Bob. What's yours? Can I buy you a drink? Let me buy you a drinky poo. One caveat, as the night wears on and more drinks are imbibed, both the cat person and the dog person, well, they'll start to act like animals. The cat person will start rubbing against people, purring seductively. The dog person, well, I hate to say it, but the dog person's gonna act like a dog in heat. Now, I would be remiss if I concluded without telling you how you can tell the difference between a dog Toastmaster and a cat Toastmaster. A dog Toastmaster, after a speech, will say, did you like it? Did you like it? Did you laugh? Did you laugh? Whereas a cat Toastmaster won't say a single word. They'll just be like, I got this. Contest master.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Von Salvo. At this time, we will observe a 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots. Timer, please give us the red screen once the 1 minute has elapsed. Mic check and everything, so thank you for turning on your camera. Can you give us a mic check? Speak.
Hello?
Wonderful, we hear you. You can see yourself in your camera. Are you satisfied with the way your camera is set up? Take your time to set it up exactly the way you'd like it.
Okay, what if I should raise it?
All right, time's up. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's see if I can raise it just a bit. I guess that'll do. Yeah.
Fantastic. The last thing I'm going to ask you, are you able to see our timer on your screen? Toastmaster Decrizia Bartlett, are you able to see her screen? Right now it should be completely black and should say timer.
Well, it's completely, I see a completely black screen, but it doesn't have any writing on it.
If you hover your mouse over it, you should see that it says the timer.
Okay, timer, okay, yes.
Okay,
yes.
Perfect. So as long as you're able to see the timer, we can proceed forward.
Okay.
All right. Contestant number 2, Roshan Jones. I didn't write a speech. I didn't write a speech. Roshan Jones.
Fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests, good evening. I came tonight with the intent to present you with a speech that would echo through the ages. A speech that will go down in history as the funniest speech I ever wrote. But alas, I didn't write such a speech. In fact, I didn't write a speech at all. I intended to speak off the cuff, to come up with a few clever things to say that would have you laughing out of your seat. But now that I'm up here, I can't think of anything to say. And you know why, fellow Toastmasters? Because I didn't write a speech, that's why. It all started 2 weeks ago. I was on vacation. At the beginning of my vacation, I had this grand plan of the amazing speech I'd write for you. It would have a grandiose introduction, a hilarious body, and a mic-dropping conclusion. But then I started vacation, and I did what every self-respecting person with 2 weeks of vacation and a speech to write does. I went to Miami. Oh, I started to write a speech. I started many times over, but each time I started, something would come up. The first incident happened at the airport. The agent announced that there would be a flight delay. So I thought, great, I'll use this time to write my speech. I pulled up my laptop and began to write. Fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests, good evening. Then a voice says, hi, I'm 5. So I say, happy birthday. Oh, but it's not my birthday. Now, most days this would be cute, but today I have a speech to write. So I'm thinking, if it's not your birthday, then why are you telling me how old you are? But I just say, oh, okay. Then she asks, what you doing? I look up and she's doing this. I'm writing a speech. What kind of speech? A humorous speech. What's it about? I can't think of anything. You're too smart to be funny, that's why. So now I'm curious. What do you mean by that? My mommy says that people with big heads have big brains, and smart people are boring. And your head's really big, so that means that your jokes aren't very funny. At this point, her mother calls her back over and apologizes. I wave and go back to writing my speech. I read over what I have so far. Fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests, good evening. Want to see my pet amoeba? I look up to see her holding a glass box. I don't see anything, I say. It's an amoeba, silly. You can't see anything. I politely go back to my speech. Then she decides to add some shock value to the conversation. My mommy says that sometimes it hurts when Daddy hits John Hancock in her Mary Mary. Pardon me? That's what she calls his private parts because she doesn't think I know what it means. So I really want to hear where this conversation goes. But at this point, we board our flight. The entire trip seems to go by in a blur. I went shopping, I went to a panic room, I went race car driving. There was a whole lot of fun, but not much speech writing. On the final night, I decided to go over what I have so far. Fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests, good evening. Then a voice says, baby. I try to ignore it. Baby. I look up, and then I go back to writing. Baby. This time when I look up, my fiance is standing in the doorway with nothing but my t-shirt on. Now, any other night, this would be enticing. But tonight, I have a speech to write, and I refuse to be distracted. But then she takes the t-shirt off. 5 minutes later, I'm laying down exhausted. I look up at the clock and it's 1 a.m. I decide I'm going to close my eyes for 5 minutes. I set my alarm and closed my eyes. When I opened my eyes at 6 a.m., needless to say, the 2 weeks flew by, and now is the night before the contest. I sit to my computer and I read over what I have so far. Fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests, good evening. Then it occurs to me, I don't know what I'm wearing for the contest. 10 minutes later, I'm standing in the front of the mirror, fully dressed and dancing, doing this. Then it really hits me. I still don't have a speech. I start to reason with myself. Maybe I'll get to go last. I could borrow a piece of someone else's speech, and maybe no one will know. But then my conscience says, so we're stealing speeches in our way. I sit to my computer and I read over what I have so far. I press save on my speech and I say to myself, you've got this, Roshan. Your whole life is a speech. So without further ado, I give you my speech. Fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests, good evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Jones. We will now observe another 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots. Timer, please give us the... We're now going to call in our third contestant to do our mic check, video check. We could have Toastmaster Marguerite. There we are. See you, Justin. Justin, could you do a mic check for us?
Mic check, mic check.
Mic check, mic check. We could hear you loud and clear. Are you satisfied with the way you look in your screen?
Not really, but it works.
I can empathize with you completely, confrere, but we're going to do the best we can. And can you see our timer on your screen?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Okay. At this time, I'm going to proceed with your introduction. Contestant number 3, Justin Marguerite. Me hungry. Me hungry. Justin Marguerite.
Saving Private Ryan. Dunkirk. Pearl Harbor. Everyone loves a good war story. A story about camaraderie, a story about resilience, and a story about triumph. Contest master, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. Not long ago, I found myself in my very own war story. A story about a war going on today in America in our own backyards. My war story? My war story is about the Great Chicken Sandwich War of 2019. Let me brief you on the situation. Popeyes, a traditionally bone-in chicken restaurant, recently released its new boneless chicken sandwich. We're talking fried chicken, pickles, mayonnaise, bread. That's it. This is no ordinary chicken sandwich though. This chicken sandwich has left American favorites like Wendy's, KFC, even Chick-fil-A, all fighting now for chicken supremacy. What started as a simple war of words on Twitter has now escalated to something worse, something violent. I've watched videos on YouTube of Popeye's customers getting into fistfights over chicken sandwiches. I've watched Popeye's customers trying to fight Popeye's employees because they've run out of chicken sandwiches. I watched a man jump through a drive-through window for a chicken sandwich. Let me take you back to August 28th, 2019. It was a beautiful Sunday evening that I was spending with my girlfriend, when all of a sudden, she looked at me with her puppy dog eyes, and she said, "Babe, me hungry. Me hungry. What we have to eat?" You see, my girlfriend's Jamaican, and anytime she breaks out the patois on me, I know she means business. So I looked her in the eyes, grabbed her by her beautiful face, And I said, baby, we're going to Popeyes. We hopped in the car, drove to Popeyes, and when we arrived, it looked like a Black Friday sale. There was a line to get in the building, a line of cars surrounding the building. Inside the Popeyes, no social distancing whatsoever. Naturally, as the alpha male, I began to panic. I said, babe, this is nuts. We could be here forever. I'm just going to try the Popeyes down the road instead. She calmly replied, I think we should stay right where we are because we don't know if the other Popeyes are going to be just as crowded as this one. That's one of the reasons my girlfriend and I get along so well. She's that voice of reason to bring me back down to earth when I need it. Naturally, I did what any rational man would have done in that situation. I veered out of line, stepped on the gas, and headed down the road. As we approached the second Popeyes, I noticed there was a police presence up ahead. 2 cop cars with their lights on and an officer directing traffic. I tried to pull into the Popeyes and the officer stopped me. Stop right there, buddy. You're blocking traffic. You got to keep it moving. What were we going to do? We couldn't go home. We couldn't retreat. So we went onward with our mission to the third Popeyes. Now, a light rain had began to fall. Before we even saw the third Popeyes, we noticed a line of 30 cars waiting to get in. This time, it was my girlfriend that lost her cool. She said to me, with no puppy dog eyes, babe, me hungry bad. All of this, I'm not even jerk chicken. I was in complete damage control. I said, baby, you know I'm going to take care of you, right? I'm your man. I'm your protector. I'm going to take care of you, and I'm going to feed you, honey. I'm going to feed you a chicken sandwich from Popeyes. I busted a U-turn, stepped on the gas, and headed down the road. Now, the stakes could not have been higher. Our stomachs were growling. Our patience was wearing. That light rain had turned to a torrential downpour. I was driving like this. We knew we had to change our approach. When we made it to the fourth Popeyes, this time we were going to skip the drive-thru. So we parked the car, braved the weather, and charged inside of Popeyes. To our relief, there was just a few people in line. We ordered within minutes, took a seat, and waited for our order number to be called. It was at this moment, though, as I looked around this restaurant, something wasn't right. 3 people waiting at the counter on the right, another 2 or 3 on the left, and every table and every chair in this place was full. The problem was, no one had anything in front of them. They had no food. They were waiting, just like we were, for their order number to be called, like we were playing bingo. Long story short, over an hour later, we finally get our food. I should have been jumping for joy. I should have been ecstatic. Mission accomplished. Instead, I had mixed emotions. On one hand, I was happy I was able to feed my girlfriend because now she wasn't going to mash up my things. On the other hand, I was disgusted with myself. I had traveled so far. I had gone through so much for a chicken sandwich. At that moment, I hated myself. I hated myself because that chicken sandwich was so good. Contestmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Marguerite. At this time, we are going to observe another 1 minute of silence for our judges to mark their ballots. At the conclusion of the 1 minute timer, will you please display the red screen? Thank you so much, Timer Bartlett. We're now going to do our mic test for our next contestant. O'Keffin, could you do a mic test for us?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much, O'Keffin. We hear you loud and clear. You look great in the screen to me. How do you feel about the way your screen looks?
I feel fantastic.
Excellent. And finally, are you able to locate our timer on your screen at all times?
Yes.
Perfect. Screen is totally black right now, and the timing signals will be displayed at the appropriate time. I'm now going to introduce you. Contestant number 4, O'Keffin Cooper. Dating struggles. Dating struggles. O'Keffin Cooper.
It's not easy being a ladies' man. Going on dates, endless calls through the middle of the night, never, and I mean never, hearing the word no. Only, yes, daddy. Reality check. That's not me. You're looking at the total opposite of those things. Beanie Man said the girls them sugar? More like the girls them sour. People, I get turned down more than a stack of cups that just got washed. So good evening to the contest chair. Good evening to my fellow Toastmasters. Good evening to our valued guests. And to the 4 ladies that ignored my private messages, I see you. I'm from a generation that uses the term shoot your shot. And it simply means if you like someone, you ask them out on a date. But my problem isn't shooting my shot. My problem is aiming. You might think of me as a machine gun. I shoot my shot any and everywhere. I shoot my shot so many times that I've been turned down 68 times this year. And I know what you're thinking. How does a person get turned down that much? It's quite simple. I don't discriminate. If they're short, tall, ugly, or small, once they have a heartbeat, I'll ask them all. Also, you might wonder that someone who gets turned down that much might be good with rejection. I'm not that someone. And what makes it worse is that I'm a Toastmaster. I remember asking this Toastmaster out on a date, and she had the audacity to tell me no. Little did she know that I was the timer for a competition that evening, and she was disqualified for some strange reason. Then I asked another Toastmaster out on a date, and can you believe it? She said no. But she didn't know that I was the table topics master for the club that evening. I had 12 questions, and I made her answer every single one. Face-to-face just simply doesn't work for me. So I tried the internet. Yes, dating apps. I started with Tinder. Tinder told me to swipe right for women that I liked and swipe left for women that I didn't. But it says here that all 20 of the women that I swiped right towards all deleted their accounts. So it says here that my account received 70 swipes to the left. I've got to try eHarmony. eHarmony asked me 121 questions and gave me 0 matches. But there's always blackpeoplemeet.com, which is refusing to let me meet any black people. And can someone please tell me who gets rejected from Christian Mingle? I'm starting to hate the internet. So, since face-to-face doesn't work for me, and neither does the internet, I tried dating a friend. But I got stuck in the coldest place a man could ever be. The friend zone. My beautiful audience, I am so deep inside the friend zone with the young lady, she has me stored inside of her phone as Little Brother O'Carefin. I get the occasional side hug. And what makes matters worse, the guys that she dates, when they need a raincoat, she sends them to me. Shame on her for looking down on me like that. A man could dream, right? But folks, honestly, it's been a tough year for me. And ever since it started, the only tight thing that I've been inside are these pants. I even have a nickname at work, the 40-week-old virgin. People, if you think that I'm lying, after this competition tonight, I am going to walk down to KFC and order myself a 3-piece special. And that, yes, that is going to be the first piece of leg that I've had for the year. But I believe that there is a light at the end of this deep, dark tunnel. Even though I've been turned 68 times this year, I believe that 69 is my lucky number. So rest assured that there is someone out there for everyone. So continue to shoot your shot, and eventually you will hit your target. 200 plus ladies in the Zoom meeting tonight. I think I just might land a shot. Mr. Contest Chair.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Cooper. At this time, we are going to observe another. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Bartlett. At this time, we're going to do the mic check and everything with for our next contestant, Jonathan. Mic test, Jonathan?
Check. Good.
Perfect. We hear you loud and clear. Do you like the way you look within your frame?
Yes, sir.
As much as we can. Excellent. And are you able to locate the timer clearly on your screen?
No, sir.
Right now, it's a completely black screen, and you'll.
Okay. Oh yeah, right next to me. Perfect.
Perfect. So that's where it should remain for the remainder. That was redundant. Okay. Well, I'm going to introduce you now. Contestant number 5, Jonathan Francis Dunn. If a little bit is good, it doesn't mean a lot is better. If a little bit is good, it doesn't mean a lot is better. Jonathan Francis Dunn.
In the 80s, you probably would have thought I was kind of a strange child. Kind of a strange child. But only in the 80s. Never left the house without 2 things. Number 1, my Star Wars backpack. Or what lived inside of it. 32 packets of pure grade A sugar. You could rip off the top. You could slurp one down, and it made the whole yucky world taste better. Age 11, this life of excess had caught up to me, and I needed a heart-to-heart with Mom. Mom, Why does my stomach stick out so much further than all the other kids? Am I dying? Mom started every conversation the same way. Oh, my perfect little angel from heaven. She then dropped the proverbial hammer. Son, your stomach sticks out so far because of all that sugar you eat. This revelation crushed me. Tears streaming down my cheeks. Mom did what moms do. She threw me a lifeline. Out of her pocket, she pulled a pink packet of perfection. The holy grail of weight loss in the 1980s. Sweet and Low. She told me that if I would simply replace my sugar with these, my stomach would be a thing of the past. After one last bender, I decided to start the next morning. I poured my bowl of Frosted Flakes. I squirted my chocolate syrup on top. I sprayed my whipped cream. And then I delicately sprinkled one packet on top. I slowly raised the spoon to my mouth. I wasn't expecting much. I had had Mom's diet foods before. The styrofoam rice cakes, the Tab Cola. And then I took that first bite. Oh my God! It was incredible! These 32 packets were going to be the easiest thing I had ever done. Back then, I had the American philosophy. If a little bit is good, it must mean a lot is better. So I decided to go with 64 packets all at once. I needed this stomach gone yesterday. With each bite, I would literally look down and I would see results. Finishing my bowl, I jumped up into the mirror and I was examining my hot new body. Loved it so much, I decided to do something I had never done before. Walk to the bus stop by myself. Typically, I walked with Johan. He was my only friend. He was an exchange student from Germany. But today, all eyes needed to be on moi. I burst out that front door. I thought, ladies, watch out for the JD. I was strutting down the sidewalk like Travolta in Saturday Night Fever. I spun around, baby. I was staying alive until the fateful second spin. Disaster struck. Turns out 64 packets of Sweet and Low creates side effects. Bombastic flatulence. But worst of all, my stomach, it seemed to be telling my buns, son, you've got 30 seconds to get to the house and the clock starts now. Spinning back around, I see Johan coming up behind me. And strangely, he's speaking German in a responsatorial fashion. I tightened my buns like a vice and I mustered, Ich bin gut, as Johan stepped into the cloud. A stench I don't want to imagine. He collapsed. As I stepped over him, it dawned on me. Bombastic flatulence in conversational German. It sounds exactly the same. I must have looked literally like a running penguin as I got to the front door, only to realize it's true. We all experience pride before the fall. In my haste to show off my hot new body, I'd locked myself out of the house. It was time for my first executive decision to jump the fence and go what I now coined caveman style. When I landed over the fence, it was right next to Dad's competition rose bush. Let's just say it was fertilized heavily that day. I jumped in the pool to clean off, only to make it back to the bus stop for my classmates to now call me the running penguin. Getting home, things got interesting. Mom wasn't there with my Chef Boyardee. My sister Melanie was, and she was crying. Brother, Mom came home on her lunch break to let Angel out. That was the dog superimposed on my head. Turns out the favorite place for her to do her duty, Dad's competition rosebush. She went to wash down Angel's potty, and Mom saw this something she didn't understand. It could come from a 5-pound toy Pekingese. Brother, Angel's dying. Mom took her to the vet to put her down. The familiar jangle of the bell on Angel's collar filled the room several hours later, and I learned that silence is golden. I didn't speak of it for 30 years before I finally confessed to Dad. It was why he had won first prize that year, the only time in a decade. Toastmasters guests, please think of this speech as both humorous and a cautionary tale. If a little bit is good, it doesn't mean a lot is better. Unless you're my dad. He has now mysteriously won the rose competition. 5 years running. Contest master.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Dunn. At this time, we will now observe another 1 minute of silence for our judges to mark their ballots. Lesson number 6, Dave Bricker. The Speaker's Journey. The Speaker's Journey. Dave Bricker.
Feeling oddly confident, I walked to the front of the conference room, ready to give the big presentation. There before me was the board of directors, staring at me a little stern-faced, a little skeptical, but I was ready. I began to utter my first words, and I realized, how could this be? I am completely naked, not a stitch of clothing. What am I going to do? I could slink down behind the conference table and give my presentation as a talking head. I could run off to the bathroom and wind myself up in a 10-foot roll of paper towels or toilet paper and slink off the premises, never to be seen again. Or maybe make the most of it. Act confident, strut my stuff, act like I meant to do it. And then the panic seized me once again and everything faded. And I woke up in my bed, in my pajamas. Well, actually, I was still naked, but I was lying there with someone who'd already given me a pass, so it didn't matter. And I thought to myself, I still have 3 months to go before the big presentation. So I called a friend of mine. I said, what am I going to do? I'm terrified. How can I prepare for this presentation? And my friend had one word for me. Toastmasters. Toastmasters? What's Toastmasters? It's a public speaking organization. They help people overcome their fear of public speaking and develop platform skills. But how am I going to start? He says it's easy. There won't be anybody in the room. All you have to do is speak to the green dot. What could be easier than that? So I went to my first Toastmasters meeting. And I observed. And I watched the speakers. And I hid in the back of the room. And then the table topics master came on, and I thought to myself, this person's a little bit of a sadist. And he began to ask these unusual questions. Question number 1, what is the difference between an orange? Oh, please don't call on me, please don't call on me, please don't call on me. Question number 2, if you were the first female president of Antarctica, who would you appoint as your ambassador to Romania? Don't call on me. Don't call on me. Question number 3. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your favorite color? Pointed right at me. I got to the front of the room, kind of shaking, wishing I'd wore some Depends. And I began. On a scale of 1 to 10, What is your favorite color? You see, if you repeat the question, you kill a little bit of time and hopefully you can stall and stammer and stutter and get beat around the bush a little bit until that green light comes on. I think we've all been there at one point in our speaker's journey. Well, that was a disaster, and I went without a roll of toilet paper to slink out of the room, and I was intercepted by the VP of membership. And she was so kind, and she was so warm, and she was so supportive, and she was so totally hot that I joined Toastmasters. And I began to show up. I began to go to meetings. And I learned some things at these meetings. I learned that a cordless microphone can pick up AM radio stations from Havana, Cuba. I learned that the slide projector will always die in the middle of the performance. And for online presentations, I learned that the neighbor will always bring out their leaf blower right in the middle. Nothing you can do about it. It's Murphy's Law. Well, the time came for me to do my very first speech. And we all know what that first speech is. That very first speech, that terrifying introduction to Toastmasters. The Ice Bucket Challenge. Well, that one didn't go across as planned either. But I did it. And I kept coming back and I kept speaking. And the day of the big presentation arrived. And I went to the back, to the front of the conference room, and I began to utter my first words. I looked out at the board of directors and I realized I'm totally naked. Not a stitch of clothing. How could I have done this again? And the scene faded. And I woke up and I lay back in my bed and I looked at my alarm clock. 3 hours to go. I can do this.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Bricker. We will now observe another 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their. How do you feel about the way you look on your screen?
Perfect. I look handsome.
Yes, you do, sir. And can you see the timer on your screen?
Okay, let me pin her. Hold on one second.
Right now, it's just a black screen.
Yeah, I see it. That's TM
DeCanzia. That's correct. Do you want to just maybe pin the video, just as long as you can see it?
Okay, I got it.
Wonderful. All right, now that you are ready, I will introduce you. Contestant number 7, Sean Bakhta. They push, they pull, they are really cool. They push, they pull, they are really cool. Sean Bakhta.
This is a story of a cub and a group of lions. The one thing these lions and lionesses want is this cub to grow as a strong lion. And the cub becomes victim. They push, they pull. They're really cool. Honorable dignitaries, distinguished Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. A very good evening. Earlier 2019, my co-worker Chantal and I met with club president Miss Sisi, and she introduced us about Toastmasters. 2 weeks after that meeting, one morning, I'm at my office working on my computer, and Chantal rushed in, very excited. Without even saying good morning, she started, Sean, I'm coming from Toastmasters meeting and you have to join. Over there, they push you to speak. my friend, I am a husband, married for 14 years. I get to speak? I threw the mouse away and paid her full attention. She continued. After every speech, they give you evaluation. Love it. Sean, they criticize on your face. Wow! And Sean, they have this little piece of paper. They write down all this criticism, fold it, put your name, and throw it to your face. I say, Chantal, let's go. Hold on, hold on. They don't open until next Thursday. Thursday morning came. We went there. I got a very warm welcome. The people are super nice, especially two people on the group. They were looking at me and smiling at me throughout the meeting. Later, I found out one of them was the VP membership and the other one, the treasurer of the group. And they do their job very good. I liked the meeting. I actually joined the same day. Oh, one more thing. That day, I won my first award in public speaking, the best table topic. I was so happy. I blasted off on my social media. I got hundreds of likes. Later, I found out any guest participate in table topic wins. Some unknown reason. I was in anyway. First few weeks was very good, super nice, loved it until the day I had my first prepared speech, the icebreaker speech. Suddenly, the accounter's bell started ringing louder. The grammarian was not only checking my grammar, was dissecting my syllables. And the timer started counting 0.001 second. I was literally inside the lion's den. I liked my speech. My speech was good. You know why? I completed the speech. I did not faint. After the speech, I thought, let me ask around. I went to the lioness, our DTM, Distinguished Toastmasters, Miss Marsha. I say, Miss Marsha, what do you think? Her eyebrows are hitting the ceiling. That was okay, Sean. But boy, you made me dizzy. What did I do? I said, can you please explain? You moved so much. Sean, on your next speech, I'll be just in front of you and do like this. So you can stop moving. I said, okay, Miss Marsha, I will take care of that. Then I thought, oh, Miss Timer, thank you very much for that grin. This is the best thing happened to me at Toastmasters. Being an immigrant, getting green card in just 5 minutes. Thank you. Then I went to Mr. Alex, our DTM. I say, Mr. Alex, what do you think? He literally touched my shoulder and picked up like this. Sean, work on your posture. You have to own the stage. I said, okay, Mr. Alex, I will follow that. I went back home and slided some padding under my jacket. Few weeks later, I had my second speech. Miss Lioness was very happy. I did not move that much. Mr. Lion was, I could feel the laser hitting on my shoulder. Then I thought, why not go to a different kind of lion? Somebody like Disney's Lion's Kingdom, Simba, a vegan lion, I went to our DTM, Mr. Tony Moore. I said, Mr. Tony, what do you think? Sean, take it easy. I got my DTM in, I don't know, maybe few decades. Take it easy. It's going to happen. My friend, sometimes we misunderstand these loves. This tough love makes us what we are. My dear lions and lionesses, thank you very much. Because of you, I am here today. You push, you pull, you are really cool. Contest Master.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vodka. At this time, we are going to observe silence until all of the judges have completed marking their ballot. Display patience, and I appreciate everyone being patient with us through this time. We almost have all of the ballots cast, and we will begin the deliberation of the judging, the adjudication panel very soon. So thank you, everyone, for being patient. We will return to our regularly scheduled programming in any minute. District 47 Humorous Speech Contest for the year 2019-2020 for our Toastmasters year. There would not be a complete district event if we didn't have a district leader address. At this time, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our current Club Growth Director, Distinguished Toastmaster, Dr. Andy Byrne. Andy.
Okay, can you hear me now, Austin?
Absolutely, Andy.
All right. This has been an amazing year. The Club Growth Director is charged with many things. My journey began in May, and it's had its ups and downs. For example, I got to meet many new people, develop new friendships, and more happened throughout the course of the year. Contest master, chair, functionaries, dignitaries, friends all. This has been quite an amazing year of ups and downs. Some of the ups have been the new clubs that we've established over the course of the year. The downs have been literally falling down and breaking my leg. I went into social distancing 4 months before the rest of you, back in September, when I broke my leg. It was a horrible thing. I was in a cast from my toes all the way up to my groin. It made getting around very difficult, but I still approached the job with vigor and intensity, and we had success. As we look at where we are now, just 32 days away from the end of this year, we are calling out to each and every one of you, especially the division directors, the area directors, and the club officers. We need your help. We need almost 500 members to sign up. And that may seem to be a lot of people, but when you think about it, we have 1,100 and more people that have been members and just didn't pay their dues this year to come to that number. We only need 5 more clubs as a district to be paid to allow us to be distinguished, and more if we set our sights higher. It's up to each and every one to help our clubs focus on those members who just didn't renew. Now, some of them are understandable. Some of them have lost their jobs. Some of them have moved to another location. We had a club member that went to visit her family in India. The coronavirus hit, and she can't leave India. She's been stranded there for months. These things happen, and it's added to the interesting things that have happened this year. Who knew that all our clubs would be going virtual? Who knew that we would be developing new skills to do virtual meetings? But not just virtual meetings, virtual contests. Who knew? These have all represented interesting challenges, but District 47 and its talented members have risen to the occasion. Each of you, we've had more than 180 people sign on to this humorous contest, and we've had 6 contestants. Each of you contributed to a wonderful time today, but I would be remiss if I didn't start mentioning some names. The rest of the trio, led by Leonardo Burrows, who's been a wonderful district director, Ivan Thompson, who's been a fascinating and effective program quality director, our finance manager, Barbara Stratus, and the rest of the DEC team of district directors, area directors, and others. But I also want to spend a little bit of time talking about the team that I helped build this year and carrying out our strategic plan. First is the extension chair, Patty Stevenson, who functioned in the United States, and Kevin Ferguson, who functioned in the Bahamas. Our club coach chairs, Cece Esprut and Kenya Monroe. Then we had division support teams in each division. The reason that this has been successful is that we've put in new clubs in every division this year. We're proud of that. And we're proud of being able to place so many people as coaches. 40 coaches have been placed and more waiting to be placed. I sent out a memo yesterday listing all the new coaching opportunities that are there. Yes, we've been in crisis, but crisis also presents opportunities for each and every one of you. I want to say, see you soon at our June empowerment meeting. I look forward to everybody having a successful year. Thank you, contest chair, contest master, and the rest of the dignitaries.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster and our club growth director, Andrew Byrne. At this time, we're going to reintroduce all of our contestants and give them their participation award for being a part of this fantastic contest. As I call your name, if you would like to show your screen, that way you could wave to the virtual audience, you may do so, or if you elect not to, that's completely fine as well. Our contestants in order alphabetically, we have Sean Batka, Dave Bricker, O'Keffen Cooper, Jonathan Francis Dunn, Roshan Jones, Justin Marguerite, and Leah Von Salvo. At this time, I would also like to recognize all of the functionaries that have made this contest possible. As you know, being part of Toastmasters, we don't do any of this on our own. We always work as a team. I would like to especially thank our technical coordinators who made this virtual contest possible and vivacious. Andrew Byrne, David Carr, Brandon Kinsey, Janine Kinsey, and Shakira Taylor. Thank you so much to our technical coordinators.
I just finished my speech. We're just about at the end.
We gotta get you muted there, Andy. There we go. All right, wonderful. We'd now like to thank our administrative team who really worked tirelessly for months and weeks to make sure all of our ducks were in a row and all of our I's were dotted and T's were crossed. Big thanks to Patricia Hamilton and Arlene Prudhomme. Also, our functionaries today, hey, there I am again. Yours truly, Austin Canonica, as the contest master, snaps for me. Our chief judge, Garth Jackson. And our contest chair, who is the chair of all of the District 47 contests this year, Lois Margolin. In addition, all of the other functionaries that makes this contest possible, our timers, Decrizia Bartlett and Merla Power, our sergeants at arms, Lepidra Damianos, who gave me quite an introduction to this contest, and Robert Duvalier, our ballot counters who worked diligently to assure these results were given to me accurately, Glenisha Albury and Lynette Bowleg. Of course, our judges, completely anonymous, thank you so much for serving in this contest and making it possible. I do not envy you at all because all of those contestants were absolutely spectacular. Now is the moment we've all been waiting for. And I will introduce the winner, District 47 Humorous Speech Contest. Third place, Jonathan Francis Dunn. In second place, Leah Von Salvo. Quite the ovation. And our first place winner of the District 47 Humorous Speech Contest, Justin Marguerite. What an ovation. Fantastic. I forgot to mention that there were no timing disqualifications for this humorous speech contest, which is outstanding. No timing disqualifications. Congratulations to all of our competitors. Thank you so much for everyone joining on this Friday evening. Tomorrow, we have 3 speech contests. We have the Table Topics Contest, the Speech Evaluation Contest, and the International Speech Contest. If you thought this was fun, you're going to want to tune in tomorrow for an action-packed day of District 47 speech contests. My name's Austin Canonica. It's been an honor and pleasure to serve as the contest master. I bid you adieu.